Unfiltered, uncensored, and unapologetic. This is the Retail Warzone podcast.
So tonight, there's not a lot of topical information. We're going to take a trip down the Google rabbit hole with this together. I worked on that today to make sure that I can get it to work. No guarantees that it's going to work flawlessly, but we're going to try. Good evening, Blank Stairs. Blaine Tag says, I swear to God, these fucking customers know when the show starts and just get so fucking loud on purpose. Yeah, you know, they're trying to bust on our flavor, so to speak. But having said that, get moving along. Cannot do any of this without a sponsor. And speaking of Blame Tag, the serving times, link is there on the screen, also in the description of the video. Please go read his stuff. We're getting to a point now where truth is stranger than fiction, and he's going to accidentally find himself in real journalism if he's not careful, because the stuff's just going so crazy. Also, too, if you're so inclined, please take the time to subscribe, like the stream, hit notifications, all that jazz. They say it's a cool thing. I don't know. Also, too, if you're unaware, if you want to help spread the word, also in the description of the video, there's a link to a graphics file that you could print out at your leisure. Retail Warzone business cards or whatnot. You can put them on just regular, plain paper, cut them up, hang them somewhere. If you guys do that, if you guys start doing that, send me pictures. Let me know where you're at, state-wise, because 2023, the year of outreach. So every little bit helps. So let's get into some headlines before we get into the nitty-gritty, so to speak. And here we go. Walmart, Home Depot. Here are the major companies raising employee wages in 2023. I know they're getting a lot of press on that. I know Hero had sent me an email about Home Depot. We already kind of discussed Walmart, but they kind of go through some other places that are raising their wages. So customer meltdown on over price increases any day now. Then you have Hy-Vee abruptly suspends employee discount program alleging abuse. Iowa grocery giant says updated perks program will roll out by mid-April. Okay, it was a 10% discount, and the quote-unquote fraud evidently was people that didn't live in the same home and whatnot. But the only reason this is newsworthy is because everything is so fucking expensive right now. That 10% goes a long way for a lot of people. I think they could have probably focused on something a little bit more important than that. Next headline, retail has a customer trust problem. That's a pretty interesting one to read, to wrap your head around. And then hundreds of U.S. stores to close in 2023, causing concerns for employees and customers. Well, if you mismanage your business, you probably shouldn't have a business. So please get out of my store. DoorDash driver harasses Subway employees over late order. That's a fun one. This is actually a good one, too. I highly recommend everybody read this. Shopping While Black, the impact of discrimination on black health and retailer revenue. Some interesting statistics in there. And then in this week's installment of No One Wants to Work, crisis in the retail sector is nearly 15,000 jobs lost so far in 2023, report warns. But nobody wants to work, right? Retail safety and security when prevention isn't enough. As violent crime rises, improving employee training and store design can reduce the odds of trouble. That's a pretty insightful little article to read. And then COVID's legacy of weirdness. Layoffs spread, but some employers can't hire fast enough. So there we go. So let's see what we got going on. Here it says, we can get folks working while listening. Ones that say, shh, I'm in the war zone. Yeah. TM Lens, but the discount is part of the pay. They always like to tell us, yeah, right. Proto says the companies can eat that 10% in deal. Right. So, I don't know what's your guys' tax rate where you live. I know where I'm at. It depending on the county is 6%, 7%. So that discount is only covering, a hair more than sales tax. So it's like, really? I mean, 10%, I mean, that's not real gracious. 6%, yep. What's up, Joy K? Corporate sales really try to stop theft using literally everything except the one thing that would actually work. Correct. Proto says 7.5 there. Yeah, so I mean, look at 10%. Oh, you don't have tax there on that? Got you. 7%. That's something I didn't think about. A lot of places, food's not taxed. Correct, Hero. Food isn't taxed. But, let's say you're a parent and you've got a newborn or you've got a baby and you've got to buy diapers. 10% help, but they take that stuff away. However, it says my discount was 20 to 30. Yeah. Or clothes, they are seen as essentials. Correct. Okay. So this is, it's getting out of hand out there, ladies and gentlemen, with the catchphrase of the day. And I am calling out Insider because they're one of the worst. Erica says, other headline to note, which Blame Tag highlighted on Twitter. Yeah, Kroger is begging ex-employees to come back. The visual that comes to mind is the scene in A Christmas Story when Flick sticks his tongue to the pole. Come back. Don't leave me. Come back. Yep. Proto says EBT is the only way our grocery food isn't taxed. And let that sink in while I'm at a job that's paying the most I've made thus far, yet stress too much. Yep. Joey says, yeah, mine is fucking 9.5. Good God. Wow. But anyway, getting back to the topic at hand. So, first of all, I'd message Blame Tag. Insider came out with an article cataloging. Stop if you heard this. All right. Stop it if a couple of people on Twitter didn't say, hey, we need to start making a list of this stuff, right? But guess what? Insider has an article that came out recently going through all the different catchphrases. Peculiar, right? Yep. A little bit of a suspectness there, but we'll just leave it at that. We just kind of find it odd that it's getting to the point where it's almost like exploitation of the media. They start picking and choosing different places they go, whether it be TikTok or whether it be Twitter, whether it be whatever, and they take something that people have discussed and try to report it as news. And yeah, grassroots journalism right there. Good shit, right? So, this was a late edition, and this kind of goes along with what we're talking about. Cranky had tagged myself and Blame Tag for an ad that she saw for H&R Block. Now, the bad problem about all this is it really, when we got to the point where it's become a joke, it's already harmful to the workforce as it is. But now when they're making fun of it, man, it's just nonsense. And I don't really know what to say. I had to see it. Blame Take had to see it. Now you have to see it too. Enjoy.
I just got a huge instant refund from H&R Block, so I am quiet quitting this job.
I don't think you know what quiet quitting is.
Get an instant tax refund at H&R Block.
Yeah. Everybody catch that? Thoughts? That's absolutely frightening. I mean, now it's a joke, right? It's quiet quitting, rage applying, quiet hiring, all this other nonsense. Most boomer joke ever made. Yep. That was the dumbest shit ever. Yep. But see, not Saturday Night Live yet. Mel says, I hate that so much. Yes, but that's, Blame Tag says, whoever wrote that ad doesn't know how quiet quitting works. Hold on. Let's take care of this self-promotion. Goodbye. So, yeah, spam. So, one more time with feeling. Just let this soak in. It's not long. Enjoy.
I just got a huge instant refund from H&R Block, so I am quiet quitting this job.
I don't think you know what quiet quitting is.
Get an instant tax refund at H&R Block.
I mean, come the fuck on. I mean, really, this is what we're doing now? You know, God almighty. I mean, how did this happen? I mean, you know, once was more than enough. Yeah. Well, I had to suffer through it a couple of times to get it to work on the stream, so I have to share with y'all. Sorry. But it's ridiculous, right? I mean, it's just out of hand, okay? And so what I want to try to do here is we're going to take a little trip into Google land. All right. So what we're going to attempt to do here is I'm just going to show you some examples of what I'm talking about. So, for instance, let's type in quiet quitting, shall we? All right, so let's go to the news tab. That's where the magic happens. So, this is the very first page of search. You've got a company called, a website called Your Tango. Woman's boss accused her of quiet quitting because she only works 40-hour weeks and won't cover employees. CNBC. Lackluster raises and mass layoffs could lead to new quiet quitting wave this year. That was 5 hours ago. Gizmodo jumped in. And some of these I'm not really worried about, but I want you to look at the names that keep coming up. Business Insider. If you like Bare Minimum Monday, give Try Less Tuesdays a go. And that was 2 days ago, right? Then you got Forbes. Bare Minimum Monday is the newest TikTok trend of quiet quitting and cyber loafing throughout the workday. Journal Republican, quiet quitting. Okay. Oh, look, there's Business Insider again. Generation Quit. How Great Resignation, quiet quitting shape Gen Z. That's from 4 days ago. Okay. Then you got Gallup. Is quiet quitting real? That's way back in September of last year. Then you got Fortune 2 weeks ago. Resenteeism is the latest trend plaguing workers and is even more dangerous than quiet quitting. Then Fortune again. Quiet hiring is the opposite of quiet quitting, and workers are furious about it. Page 2. Rolling Stone has thrown their hat in the ring. We got 11 effective strategies to handle quiet quitting in your workplace. From Rolling fucking Stone. All right? Stick to music. Jackasses. Then you got The Street. What is quiet quitting? Is it actually a new phenomenon? That's from 6 days ago. Quiet firing will replace quiet quitting, says partner. That's at Lawyers Weekly, 7 hours ago. Entrepreneur. What quiet quitting employees are trying to tell you. Oh, okay. 2 weeks ago. Malaysia Now. From quiet quitting to rage applying, workers on the lookout for, and that's a day ago. Inc. magazine. Is quiet quitting the right move? Newsweek. More than a third of Americans are quiet quitting. That's 3 weeks ago. CNBC. Rage applying isn't new, but is it effective? Here's what workplace experts say 1 month ago. Continue. Forbes. The return to office debacle. Quiet quitting. That's 2 weeks ago. Fortune. Bosses think they're winning the return to office until employees blindside them by quiet quitting 2 weeks ago. Forbes. Retain talent and avoid quiet quitting in 2023. That's 3 weeks ago. I mean, it just goes on and on. Forget quiet quitting. 2023 will be all about loud layoffs. That's 4 weeks ago. Fortune. Trends like rage applying and quiet quitting stem from a broken workplace. Blah, blah, blah. 3 weeks ago. I mean, it just continues. So we're on the third Google search page for quiet quitting, right? And then when you get into the fourth, there's Fortune again, CBS, Harvard Business Review, Yahoo Finance, etc. All right, so that's cool. So what happens if you do quiet quitting, Business Insider. Okay. Go to news and check this nonsense out. Look at the time frames. Generation quit 4 days ago. Bare minimum Monday 2 days ago. Enoughness. What's between quiet quitting and burnout 3 weeks ago. Resenteeism, whatever, how you say it, 2 weeks ago. And then here's one from 4 days ago, what I just mentioned. List. These are the biggest workplace trends and buzzwords of 2023. 3 weeks ago, men earning six figures work fewer hours, low earning men are quitting. Well, no shit. Costco worker loves her new job. That's 3 weeks ago. Business Insider, India. Forget quiet quitting. High income men are openly cutting their work hours more than their coworkers. 3 weeks ago. Then you got Future of Work 2023. Then, Hush Trips. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one yet. Hush Trips are the latest remote work burnout cure. 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. The steps you need to take to boost and enhance employee engagement. Bernie Sanders, 1 week ago. Teachers should make $60,000 a year. Pay for it with taxes on the rich. 1 week ago, layoffs being used by tech companies to win back power. Cut pay. It goes on and on and on. 2 days ago, Business Insider India. Bare minimum Monday is nice, but it's got nothing on trial list Tuesday. 2 weeks ago, how to manage Gen Z employees, a guide for millennial bosses. Some of these, you need to go back and look at the channel and look at the topics. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say. So here it is, guys. I mean, it's nonsense at this point. Now, the big thing about that, if you look at the time frame between articles, especially on Business Insider, there is so much contradictory bullshit going on in there. It's like they're reporting two sides. You know, they're sure is that, you know, fair and unbiased reporting, sure, but you can't be like the Pied Piper of catchphrases and highlighting all these things, but then turn around and do all this nonsense, you know, for the money. I mean, come the fuck on. What are you doing? I mean, it's just nonsense at this point. And the whole point of going through the Google search and whatnot is to show you, you know, the time frames that we're dealing with here and what the quick turnaround is, you know, for like something like Business Insider, where, you know, every couple of days it's another article. And I forgot to make a screen capture of it, but Blame Tag had sent me a message that he had saw something where people that work for Insider made the comment about how they started this whole quiet shit, right? Out into the stratosphere. Okay. But they're revolting against their employees and against them, you know, being unionized. So whose side are you on, people? I mean, it's stupid. Let's see. Hero says the ad wouldn't be necessary if she had a war zone. Sorry for your lost card. True. Mel says, I am TikTok all the time. I've never seen any of these trends floating around. Exactly. Joey K says, bare minimum Monday, try less Tuesday, waste time Wednesday, thievery Thursday, fuck them customers Friday. Yeah, that's good. TM Lens, it's the big news outlets that get money from big businesses. Yep. Plain Text says, none of Rolling Stone's strategies are about pay. It never is it? I mean, it really isn't. Joey K says, applying in any way in general is not effective unless you develop a bot to automatically apply 100 times a day. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, like I said, this is going to be a little bit of a lighter episode. This is more of a conversation, and this is more where, you know, I want your guys' input and whatnot and get your thoughts on all of it, because it's harming the workforce. I mean, it totally is. And, you know, just remember, not too long ago, we were essential. Now we are expendable. And now we're the butt of the joke. So what the fuck's up, people? I mean, you're complaining about, this quiet quitting, this whole quiet trend. Stop it. Now, when we get to the question of the week, it was a poll, and Blame Tag had submitted a petition to get the definition changed for quiet. So what we'll do is we're going to jump ahead. We'll go ahead and pull the question of the week up and let you see the poll and what some comments are and Blame Tag's proposed definition of quiet. So my question was, do you think the media is doing more harm than good with the constant catchphrase reporting, i.e. quiet quitting, rage applying, etc. to the workforce? Comments are welcome. Yes, hashtag quietly fuck off, or no. Currently with 33 votes at the time I took this screenshot, we're at 90.9% saying yes, 9.1 saying no. Real quick, so I can go back here and just see where we're sitting. If it's changed any. We're at 37 votes, 91.9 to the yay, 8.1 to the nay. Karen said, I would guess that the media is being fed this garbage by folks in advertising firms working for big corporations. Keep blaming the little guy. Yep. Ranty Bastard says there has to be a new term attached to retail workers because we have fought back against uneducated, unskilled. It's a job for high schoolers and won every time. Thus, a new title has to be applied almost daily until we succumb to the label. It won't work, fuckers. And then Blame Tag says, you forgot essential. And then Sassy Maggie says, unless they group us with nurses and firefighters in them, we are nothing again. Now, underneath the poll, this is what Blame Tag has proposed as an alternate definition of quiet. A largely nonsensical term used primarily by the business news media to reframe old practices as new trends by pairing it with common business words such as quiet quitting. I agree with that. What's up, Maiden? It didn't take long to get back to Expendable. It sure as fuck didn't, did it? Quinoa. Essentials. Not anymore, bud. Not anymore. Hero says, why are CEOs not being reported with quiet spending? Oh, it's because, they make it rain. It's all about the dollars, right? I mean, so what do you guys have to say? I mean, we've talked about it, we've complained about it and whatnot. So what are some of your thoughts? Blaine Tech says they're going to add the new quiet to the dictionary this year for sure. We just need it to be accurate. I hope so. Or better yet, hey, media, since there's a lot of people that are out there scrubbing the internet for like topics and breaking news and whatnot. If you come across this podcast, which I know some of you have, stop it. Stop the shit. It's nonsense. Just call it for what it is. Quit giving it cutesy little terms. All these phrases are just a way to undermine the fact that the workforce is just trying to get better than what they have. Call it for what it fucking is. Don't give it a cute little label. Do your due diligence as a journalist. Have some journalistic integrity. Quit giving it cute fucking names. Call it for what it really is. Brass tacks, hard facts. Stop with the romper room, cutesy, soon to be, in the same lexicon as like the Big Mac song. I mean, what the fuck? Call it for what it is. Or can you not? Because corporations have your parent company in their pocket. And exactly, TM Lens, that's correct. People don't read articles. The short labels are easier for headlines. That's right. So shorten it even more and tell the truth and quit giving it a cute fucking name. These are labor issues. This isn't, your catchphrase of the day. Joey K says, I thought quiet quitting was just doing the job you agreed to do in the contract you signed, but apparently not. Well, no, technically it is. But Why is it called quiet quitting? It should just be called doing your job as intended. So if you tell somebody, if a manager tells somebody, another manager, well, hey, employee A here, they do the job they were hired for. That doesn't sound near as negative as, yeah, this associate over here is quiet quitting. So you see, it skews the truth to make the worker look worse. So rather than saying associate A is doing the job as they should, as we've hired them to do, it's like, it's almost like workforce slurs at this point. Yeah, apparently doing your job is lazy now. I was reading something today, good employees, suffer from, if you do good work, it winds up getting you more work to do. And it's called performance punishing. And, you become an employee that people lean on and they just throw more and more at you. Mel says, I just looked up quiet quitting on TikTok for shits and giggles, and the only things that came up were people talking about how stupid that term it is. Right. So this is a media spun thing. When you go back and you look at all the different places that were reporting this, these are big financial outlets: Forbes, Fortune, Entrepreneur, Inc., Business Insider, geared toward the business-minded, the white-collar, C-suite workers. And they're feeding them a bunch of nonsense to make their employees look like ass. It's bullshit. And, it's what passes for journalism these days with some of this stuff, especially in the labor market, is just crazy. Like, for instance, let's take another look here. I want to see something. We know all the different shit that's going on in the world right now. At least most of us do, right? So let's try something here. Let's just, for shits and giggles, look up the Business Insider. Okay. We're going to go to news. All right. Let's see what they find important enough to talk about, shall we? The very first one's from 7 hours ago was Musk gave staff 1 week to turn around Twitter ad business. Okay, cool. Then the next one's Gen Z, 7 hours ago, right? Cool. ChatGPT amplifies the darkest aspects of human nature. IT director used ChatGPT. Mark Zuckerberg idolizes Elon Musk. 8 hours ago. Bill Gates, not a big beer drinker, invests $902 million in Heineken. Kushner and Ivanka subpoenaed. Okay. Yelp staff flocked to Texas. U2 pilot took a selfie with spy balloon. MTG defends call to split up U.S. Okay, fine. Next page. This is journalism, right? Costco food court. Soldier life expectancy in Ukraine, Mercedes-Benz, Wall Street, missile defense system, former lawyer, Tesla expands, Amazon employees, Pence disagrees, Apple reportedly hits major milestone, Trump, Japan Airlines, stock market, Elon Musk, Mexican farmers and drug cartels, China millionaires, China millennial bosses, publisher, F-35 jet pilot, blah, blah, blah. We're 4 pages in, and you don't see a damn thing about the toxic emergency in Ohio, do you? Not a damn thing. So, that's what Business Insider's reporting, right? That's a snapshot of what you see. That's all within, like, the past 24 hours, basically. And it's just stuff that's been being regurgitated from other news outlets. Not so original. Just because you do a cover song and put your spin on it doesn't make that song yours. Blame Tech says, I'll refer back to my sabotage article. I broke down exactly where quiet quitting came from in there. Correct. Maiden says, corporations expect employees to always go above and beyond while not getting compensated for it. Yep. Maiden says, do more, get paid the same, and also look at the people around you not doing anything and getting paid the same as you. Then comes the rage applying. What a joke it all is. You could, it writes itself. You know, it really does. I mean, and you know what? We talk about the journalism and we talk about how, you know, they perpetuate this bullshit. Boy, can't wait till AI takes their jobs. Right? Uh-huh. We want to talk, we want to have articles about self-checkouts, right? Not realizing that, boy, in probably next 2 years, there ain't going to be a lot of journalists left. They're going to be AI writing this shit. Then y'all can join the essential crowd and see how it feels. Your days are numbered. So, Joey K says, new term to replace quiet quitting should be vulnerability testing. If me fulfilling exactly my job role causes problems, then it sounds like you weren't properly delegating resources. Correct. Mad Dog says, do more with less, do more for less. Correct. TM Lynn says, those publications have always written to corporate management. They tell them what they want to hear. Yes. Because of the dollar, because of the money. So, I mean, it's just getting aggravating. And then, like I said, the chef's kiss to all of it was when Cranky showed us that damn H&R Block commercial. So now it's a joke. And Blame Tag made the comment that it's mainstream now. It's only a matter of time till they make a movie about quiet quitting. And he's probably fucking right. He said it'd be like a rom-com. I agree. That, I mean, and who's the butt of all that? All of us out there doing the damn job. We have to hear this shit. Because what really happens is when the boomers get a hold of these terms, oh my God. You know, they will latch onto something like quiet quitting, you know, like writing checks. I mean, they're going to buy that hook, line, and sinker. Hero says, I would like to start a trend called pay scale pandering where you get what you pay for. That'd be good. Blame Tank says it literally has to be in the works at Netflix. I agree with you. Hybrid says, I think it would be a buddy cop type movie. Well, yeah, you can have the one cop who's all in and doing more, getting paid less, and then his partner is quiet quitting on him. I could see that. Especially if it's like a human and like a dog. That's perfect. Perfect. Who's the joke now, fuckers? You know, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of topics that like rub me the wrong way. And I guess the big thing about this one is it's just become exhausting. I mean, exhausting. I mean, it makes you think like you got these businesses where people are doing freelance writing and whatnot. I mean, it's almost like the art of hard-nosed journalism is fading. Unless, of course, you go to the Serving Times. There's a lot more thought put into a lot of Blame Tags articles than there are in major publications, let me just tell you. And it's stupid. Blame Tag says, LOL, Murtaugh is chaotic working and Riggs is quiet quitting. There you go. They can make a new lethal weapon completely around it, right? You know, Beverly Hills quiet quitting. You know, movie titles. I mean, God, you know, it's just kind of ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And I don't know where it's going to go. Howard says, I mean, they did the series. Yeah. And Blame Take says, and I just make shit up. You do. But I'm sorry. There's articles you've written for the Serving Times that would put a lot of those articles that were just listed complete shame. You know, it's bandwagon shit. It really is. Can you guys come up with an original idea? I mean, please. I mean, everything gets thrown into syndication, and you got 12 fucking, you might have 12 Business Insider articles that get spread around to like Yahoo and AOL and all these other fucking websites that just repeat it ad nauseum. Enough's enough, guys. Look, maybe some of you trying to help us out with this shit. You could really help us out if you would, quit making it something that can become a joke. Just stop it. Report on labor like you should. Quit blaming Gen Z. Quit blaming, stop that shit. Pull up numbers. Let's talk about pay. Let's talk about unions. Let's talk about, how, these corporations are, robbing their workforce blind. Quit making it cute, because there's not a fucking thing cute about it to those of us on the front line fucking dealing with hearing this shit. You ain't helping nobody at all. And I'd love to see what kind of revenue you make off the clicks off that shit. Especially when, like, most sites you only get like 4 free articles to read, then you have to open up like a private browser to get into it. You're hiding stupid shit behind a paywall. I'd be damned if I would pay for that shit. Mel said, Employee of the Month kind of highlighted quiet quitting when it came out like 15 years ago. Blame tag. Maybe we should get with the gentleman who wrote on Black Friday. Maybe Andy can write something to be cool. TM Lens, but workers as they actually are boring. We just go through our day doing our job, trying to keep our bosses off our backs. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. So quit sensationalizing it, media. You get off our backs too. Or better yet, you motherfuckers who want to report this shit, volunteer to come and work in one of our stores for a week. Come on. We'll show you what's up. Joey K says, because what they do is all cite each other as sources, so you get the same 3 views for the first 7 pages of Google, and they don't have to worry about accuracy. Right. It's a big fucking circle jerk is what it is. But yeah, I mean, and it's just like I was going to do an episode talking about, and I can kind of touch on this a little bit, with this. During all the quiet quitting and whatnot, there's been a big focus on like human resources websites talking about employee retention and, what it takes to keep your people happy. And you would be amazed at how many of these professional websites with top tier HR professionals, and I'm using that term loosely, rate pay is one of the lowest or don't even rate pay at all. That sounds more like human resourceless is what that sounds like. Maiden says, I think that a lot of these terms are geared towards boomers because they have a majority of the wealth, and anything they can latch onto to call the younger generations lazy is like gold to them. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah, there's a winner. Yep. TM Lynn says, every workplace has always been basically the same. Average workers, slackers, and people going above and beyond. It's the same everywhere forever. Exactly. You're 100% correct there. It is. That's just the nature of how it is. So, it's funny. These same journalists will write about how corporations capitalize off those kind of workers, right? When they turn around and are capitalizing off making fun of those workers. You're assholes. Sorry. Oh, also on the kind of in the same labor realm, what do you guys think about the 4-day work week thing? There ain't no chance in hell in that happening here. I mean, what do y'all place the odds at these businesses start doing 4-day work weeks? There's got to be something in it for them in order to do it, and retail, I just don't see that happening. Because then you'd actually have to have people really do a schedule instead of having an auto scheduler to figure out how they're going to fill the gaps on those 5th days that people aren't going to be there anymore. It would be a nightmare for managers who trust an auto scheduler because it's not going to fucking work. You work 4 10s, they got to figure out what 4 days are the most important for you to work. I would love to see somebody try in retail, because that would be a fucking fiasco. Those places would burn to the fucking ground, because most managers that I've worked with have a hard enough time fucking scheduling, period. You tell them all of a sudden that you're full-timers or everybody's only working 4 days, those people's heads are going to explode. They're not going to be able to handle it. The schedules will be fucked up for like months. It'd be hilarious. Blame Tag says 0. Hybrid says no way in hell. Maiden says I don't see it happening. Joey K says I call complete bullshit. They're going to annihilate pay for that shit, even if they claim otherwise. Yeah, there's got to be some catch. Blame Tag says I forgot who commented it, but someone said only the CEOs and executives are going to get them. No, that would make sense too. TM Lens, we actually have mostly college students who only want 4 or 5 hour shifts 3 days a week. Yeah. And there again too, there's situations where you've got students, that want, a short shift only for a few days for some pocket money. And those, for whatever reason, those are ones that tend to get ran off. Put them in just a spot that you can use them in. They're not committing to the business full time. They're being pretty honest about their intentions if they're asking for only 4 or 5 hour shifts 3 days a week. So use them to your advantage. Scratch their back, they'll scratch yours, so to speak. But what I see is what happens is you get people like that who are really good. So you get somebody that's a great employee that only works 3 days a week. And a manager's like, wow, I could really get more out of them. What happens? You ask them if they want more hours. They say no. They commit to what their availability is. Then you start trying to put more on them, and they're like, fuck this. This isn't what I signed up for. Bye. And you just lost a good employee. Joey K, every business, 120% coverage from Tuesday through Friday, 0 coverage on Saturday through Monday, 0 applicants for weekend shifts. Yes. One thing that I always tried to do is when I hired people, I told them that the weekends were mandatory, with the caveat that I wouldn't make them work every weekend. I mean, if they showed up and did whatever, I'd give them weekends off. But I scheduled backwards. When I did my schedule, I started on Saturday. Saturday was the first day I scheduled, and I went backwards. But yeah, I mean, coverage, that's the amazing thing too, is if you watch managers, all right, in some businesses, it's very obvious. There are managers out there that will make sure they schedule plenty of people around them, especially when they close, right? But the other managers don't get shit for coverage. All on purpose. TM Lynn says, works really well for us. We have a handful of full-time during the day and them at night. We even give most of them Black Friday off. Of course, we are a thrift store, so it's not a big a deal. But still, just the concept of telling somebody they're going to be off on Black Friday means a lot. It might not in the next couple of years, because I think Black Friday is pretty much dead. But, the internet's killed that. It's only a matter of time. Hell, I think when the boomer generation dies off, Black Friday will be completely over. So, but yeah, I mean, coverage, managers do sneaky shit. Store managers will schedule all their best help with them when they close, so they don't have to do anything on closing. And the store looks better than the other nights the other managers close, because you screw them and give them the lesser help or just less bodies. Just ridiculous. But, to your point, Joey, yeah, a lot of stores are overscheduled in the times they don't need to be. And you're 100% right. You roll into Saturday and the wheels come off the wagon because you ain't got enough fucking people in the building. And then again, you got like store managers and then like operations managers, and the operation managers handle the schedule, and the store manager trusts the operation manager. And, most store managers don't have to close on Saturday night. Normally they close on Friday night, so they don't really care about Saturday. They're not there. And Saturdays and Sundays are nightmares for these secondary managers. It's just terrible. And it's almost continuous. You are right, TM Lens. Most scheduling software has no clue how to schedule. Like Dollar Tree uses this thing called Compass, and the amount of times it would schedule people for 7 days in a row. I mean, it was like, what? 7 days in a row, and availability they didn't even have. Howard says, I used to sacrifice people on my closing shift and only close with 2 people. Yep. Hero says, it's kind of like a broken pyramid scheme, right? You all have this stuff to sell. And if you do well, then the person above you does well and the person above them, etc. The broken part happens when they're like, well, Mitchell just sold 1 box and Powell didn't sell anything because he called out. So sell their boxes too, but we only pay you for yours. Thanks. Yep, that's it. Blank Stare says, I've been working 6 days, 1 off. That's a Dollar Tree way. They got that store cleaned up yet, Blank Stares? But yeah, I mean, scheduling is that's just another, God, we could do a full hour on scheduling alone. It really comes down to the manager, honestly. Okay, Blanks there. Yeah, it looks better for now. That's the key. Will it be maintained? That's the bigger thing. And the answer is no, and no fault to you, Blanks there, because you don't have the payroll to maintain it. Yeah, till the first of the month. Exactly. And there's going to be like a tornado just went through that fucking place. And I'll tell you what, too, when you look at the economy and the way it is, man, dollar stores are banking right now. And people do not realize that they're getting ripped off from like a portion standpoint. But I get it. I understand. I mean, hell, where I work, I was shocked. Eggs actually dropped under $3 a dozen over the past 2 weeks. I'm like, we went from, having them come in on a Brinks truck to being moderately affordable. But, right now is one of those times where it's a good teaching experience to go into a grocery store and just look at what 1 hour of minimum wage work will buy. It's terrible. I mean, if the minimum wage is $7.25, that will buy a gallon of milk, a dozen eggs, and maybe a candy bar. That's it. And that's something I challenge you guys to do if you haven't done it. When you go into a grocery store, just think to yourself, minimum wage, how much can an hour of somebody's work purchase? And it's frightening. It's frightening. I mean, and God, I'm not like old, right? I'll be 53, but I remember God, I sound like, the old school boomers. Back in my day, eggs were 25 cents. I remember when gas was like $1 a gallon. And I drove a sports car. There's a running joke everywhere. It's like, used to, the joke was, you give somebody gas money, you hand them a $5 bill. Shit, a $5 bill won't get you out of the fucking gas station. The candy bars everything's gotten so expensive. It's insane. That's why people are resorting to ramen and cheap food. It costs a lot, man. I was trying to figure it out, for a family of 5, if stuff's on sale, and I got 3 boys, so they eat a lot, right? But that's just the nature of the game. They're growing boys, right? On average, $30 to $35 is what it would take to fix a decent meal that would be filling for everybody. 5 years ago, I could have done that for $20 or less and be eating good. Blame takes us thinking how much an hour of my work will purchase is bad enough, and I will make well over the same thing. Look at the argument about a $15 minimum wage. Walk into a grocery store and just pick out staples and see how much you can get for $15. And then you wonder, and that's how the dollar stores are making bank. If it used to be everything's $1, you're walking out with 15 items. For $15, depending on what you're doing, you ain't walking out, with 15 items at a grocery store. Okay. There was no gas attendants for me. I was real little when they went up. Oh, yeah. So, Hero, great point. Look up the average rent in your area and divide it by minimum wage, see how many hours. That's insane. It's insane. There was a report about inflation, how it cooled on some areas, but the 3 areas that it increased on were housing, fuel, and food, the three fucking things people need the most. And I still stand by the fact that when you live in a world where the one thing that everybody needs is the absolute hardest to get, which is a home, man, there's some serious fucking problems, bro. Oh, yeah, the $5 footlong. Yep. Mm-hmm. Maiden says, I'm going to show my age. In 2007, when I got my first car, gas was $4 a gallon. And everyone told me that it would go back down, but all these years later, we're back. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that was when, I remember we lived in Atlanta during that mess. Oh, God, that was awful. Awful. And I don't even remember what caused that. What caused the, was it a tanker or was it the oil spill? What was it? Joey K says it was easier to get a home in the Iron Age. And you know, there's the whole meme, too, talking about how peasants got more time off than we do. I mean, and that's awful. But yay, capitalism, right? Mel says, I think when I started driving in 03, I could fill up my Honda for like $10. Yeah. Oh, the oil spill. Okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, I mean... I echoes the lines in fucking Atlanta for gas. Oh God. And, you know, and then you talk about, like, we've talked about this, Hero and I, you know, you talk about electric vehicles. That's great and all, right? You know, environmentally friendly, right? Whatever. Okay. What the fuck do you do with the batteries when they die? I mean, come on. It's not cost effective. Period. I mean, once again, they want to get into like renewable energy. They want to get into like electric vehicles, but my God, there ain't none of us that work blue collar, low skill jobs that can ever buy a fucking battery operated car unless it's a fucking Power Wheel that one of our kids will drive. And that ain't gonna get you far. TM Lynn's every event bumps has prices up. Yep. And that's the thing. They bump it and then they get you to a point where you accept the fact that the price is higher than it originally was, but it's lower than when it got high, if that makes sense. Mel says, we watched a video of a guy traveling in an electric car and it was just not as pleasant. You know, and at that point, okay, fine. Let's go cheaper. Let's all drive golf carts. Yep. No. Those cost way less. You can't do that. Joey K says motorcycle is most efficient, but you got to do it the same. Yeah, I agree with you. It is the most efficient. But, you know, good motorcycle riders understand, you know, the safety of it. Your problem is dealing with the morons behind four-wheel vehicles that have no fucking clue what they're doing. You know, which is true. But I don't, it's, you know, we're in trouble. I mean, and, you know, I keep reading stuff, you know, about the housing market and this and that and the stock market. Do any of us give a fuck about that? No. We just worried about where our next meal is going to come from, if we're going to be able to pay all the fucking bills we need to pay, and if we're going to be able to breathe and sleep at night. You know, it's that kind of nonsense. And problems. You know, we got a busted healthcare system. We got, I mean, it's all so fucked up. And you don't get sick. That's right. You know, you work in the businesses we're in, you get COVID, it's a roll of the dice, buddy. You either gonna make it or you ain't. You know, you ain't gonna get no special treatment. You're not like somebody that's got a lot of money to get experimental medications. If you get really bad off, oh no. You got a sneeze coming. I hate that. But anyway. Hero says the amount of Prozac I would need to decide who's driving whom alone. Yeah. Maine says, my boss said that she didn't understand how she had no money yet makes more money, but we broke it down with how much everything costs that the increases in pay. That's 100% correct. You know, I've joked. I've made the comment, getting priced out of existence. I mean, that's what it feels like, you know, and you look at just look at like what's affordable and what's not. You know, Vices, think about this. We all have, well, most of us have some sort of vice, right? Look at the affordability of that versus the things that you need to be buying. Think about that. Why have those prices not went up? All this inflation, you get a tall can of beer that's $1.50. Guess what? That price has not went up in the past 2 fucking years. How are the vices price stable and everything else isn't? Ask yourself that. I mean, are there increases in liquor prices? I don't know. I haven't been to a liquor store, but I would suspect probably not. Some cigarettes went up, but not by much. The quote unquote good cigarettes got really expensive, but the trash cigarettes are still floating around. The price of Zeldas has gone up. Yes, that is correct. $70. Yep. Hybrid says, I think that was taxes. Possibly. Mel says, I won't divulge my source, but no increase in liquor. See? We don't look at things like that. We don't be like, well, God, I mean, you got to think from a beer standpoint, especially in the South, there's got to be more beer drinkers than egg eaters, right? So they didn't capitalize on the inflation. They didn't need to. Oh, yeah, well, bars are fucking terrible anyway. But yeah. Blaine Day says, cigarettes for $15 a pack for Camels in 2010. I don't want 15 a pack where? Was that up north? All right, I'm a smoker, and I shouldn't be, but I am. All right. Yeah, exactly. Where are you buying Camels for 15 a pack? Hero says, I believe in the South we can both be beer drinkers and egg eaters. No need to divide. That's funny. New York, meant to specify. Okay. Now, well, Mel, are you in Texas? Maiden says, when I left New Jersey in 2010, I was paying 10 a pack and $2.70 in North Carolina. Well, I preferably smoke American Spirits. All right. I have my reasoning for that. I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying there's anything such as a healthy cigarette. I just know there's a difference. And those bitches are $10.50 to $11 after taxes, depending on where you go. Some gas stations get them down to under like $9.75. But, you know, on tight weeks when I just can't throw away $11 for a pack of cigarettes, I will get Pall Mall cigarettes, and those are $6 something. Oh, you smoke Cowboy Killers? Yeah. I can't do that anymore. Like, I smoke Pall Mall Orange because it's about as light as they are, because after you smoke American Spirits, everything tastes like shit. But Mel, in 2019, I flew to Grapevine, Texas. I believe it was Grapevine. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mad Dog, if you're in the chat. And for a manager's soiree for at home at the Gaylord Texan. And I'm assuming that it's probably because I bought them from the resort. But you want to talk about shock. I ran out of cigarettes. I thought I took enough cigarettes with me. I did not. And the last day I'm there, I go down to the little convenience store in the resort and ask to buy a pack of Marlboro Lights. And they were $17 fucking dollars. I'm like, what? But where the resort was, and we didn't have transportation, we just go, and there was nowhere close enough to walk. I had to eat it. But $17 fucking dollars. That was crazy. Camels are $8 in North Carolina. Hybrid says, I probably shouldn't because of the heart, but you only live once. Yeah, I understand. Oh, that's right, because you did have a stroke, right? But yeah, but yeah. So cigarettes are one of, but I think that's more of a tax thing. I do believe that's more of it. Oh, really? Wow. I got boned because I was at the Gaylord Texan. Nice hotel. I will say that. Maiden says, I went to New York City in August and cigarettes were about $21 a pack. What the fuck? Ooh. So you play the minimum wage game. How many hours must you work to smoke? Oh, I only have to work 1 hour. Actually, I can get a pack of Pall Malls for less than minimum wage. So there. You don't have to answer aloud. But yeah, so I mean, it's just things are bad, man. Things are bad. I don't know. I mean, I can't. You know, you look at the news came out that the EBT benefits, you know, people that were getting them, they lost the bump from the pandemic, all right, which was quite a lot, right? But, and then you've got in Congress, I'm not getting into the political thing, but you have a certain party who's trying to reduce EBT benefits across the board and making the work restrictions different. I mean, okay, if you want to do that's fine. Okay, pass laws to make sure people get paid. That's the thing. They you know, it's this system of where you're kind of locked into all this. And, you know, number one, if you get government benefits, it's based on pre-tax, which is stupid because when the government gets their part, you ain't got shit anyway, right? So then all of a sudden they're gauging what your benefit amount is based on what you get after the government takes their part. Okay, you want to cut out EBT and shit, that's great. Pass laws to pay people to where it's not needed. How about that? How about that, right? Hellman's Country is not the South, ma'am. Oh, Hellman's Country's up north. Never mind. You damn right, Mel. If people could afford the food, they wouldn't need as much EBT assistance. That's correct. So pass legislation to make sure people make living wages, and then you can get rid of it all. Right? You want to save money in the budget? You want to get rid of it? Well, fine. Make people pay. So, having said that, we're at an hour 6. I enjoyed the conversation this evening. It was a lot of fun. I believe, let me check here. I have some information on Cranky's Ask Me Anything. Let me scroll through here. Sorry, guys. By the way, I don't know if anybody saw my picture on Twitter. We talked about Smarties. Then I woke up and I go outside and there's an abandoned pack of Smarties in my parking lot. And I'm like, which one of you fuckers did this? March 6th. So that would be coming up here very shortly, March 6th on the therapy sessions. It's going to be Ask Cranky Manager Anything. So that ought to be a lot of fun. So get your questions ready. She's sharp as a tack. So don't try to pull one over on her. I'm sure she'll have a lot to say. You know, she is up in Canada. So if you have questions about up there, let her know. And we will do that. So having said that, everybody have a great evening. I'm not sure what the next war zone is going to be. Irish should be back then, so I'll get with him and we'll figure something out. I didn't do Irish's Fact of the Week. He sent me one. I just don't think it's proper to do Irish's Fact of the Week if Irish isn't here. So, you know. TM Lynn says, take it easy, y'all. Hopefully you have the weekend off. I never have weekends off. Hero does. I don't, but I get Sundays off. It's fair enough. And plus my job on the weekend's not that bad, so I don't care. But anyway, you guys have a great night. Everybody stay safe, and we will see you next time.